Hello dear students, I am Harish Goyal, PGT Biology, Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan. In today's session, we are going to continue the chapter Morphology of Flowering Plants. Are you ready to explore the colorful world of flowers in session 2 of this chapter with me? So have a look at the topics that we shall cover in today's session: flower and its parts, scientific terms related to flowers, types of flowers on the basis of their symmetry, types of flowers on the basis of number of floral appendages, then types of flowers based on the position of ovary, calyx and corolla, and various terms related to their arrangement in flower, estivation and its types, male part, that is androecium, and few important terms associated with the androecium. After this session, you will be able to understand the main parts of flower, describe terms related to flowers, explain types of flowers on the basis of their symmetry, identify flowers on the basis of number of the floral appendages, understand the structure of calyx and corolla and terms related to them, explain estivation and its types, recognize the types of flowers based on position of their ovary, understand the parts of androecium and explain scientific terms related to it. So let us proceed for today's session. Flower, as you know, is the reproductive unit in the angiosperms. It is worthwhile to mention here that none of the other divisions of kingdom Plantae bear any flowers. Flowers have a thin stick-like structure called stalk or pedicel. The solan end of the stalk is called thalamus or receptacle. Reduced leaves or bracts may be present at the base of the pedicel in some flowers. So, flowers with bracts are known as bracteate, while those which lack them are called ebracteate flowers. Then, parts of a flower. A typical flower has four main whorls: calyx, which is outermost, which means all the sepals together; corolla, the group of all the petals; then androecium, which consists of the male part, also known as stamens; and finally the female part of the flower, which is gynoecium, which is constituted by all the carpels or pistils. Now let us discuss some important terms related to flowers. Perianth, when calyx and corolla are not distinct, as you see in lily flowers. A flower is called bisexual when both androecium and gynoecium are present in the same flower. It is called unisexual if flower is having either androecium or only gynoecium. You can see images of different parts of flower in this slide. Children, try to identify them in your school garden. In the previous classes, you all have studied about the different parts of plants. You all are familiar that flowers are the reproductive part of flowering plants. Let us discuss structure and functions of different parts of flower in the next slide. Let us discuss some types of flowers on the basis of their symmetry. On the basis of symmetry, flowers are classified into three types: actinomorphic, zygomorphic, and asymmetrical. Actinomorphic, when a flower can be divided into two equal halves in any radial plane passing through its center. For example, mustard, datura. Then zygomorphic, when the flower can be divided into two similar halves only through one vertical plane, as you see in pea, gulmohar, beans. Then asymmetric, a flower which can't be divided into two equal halves by any vertical plane passing through the center. You can see it in canna. As you can see on the screen, pictures depicting different types of flowers in the slide. There are three types of flowers on the basis of number of floral appendages. Trimerous, floral appendages are 3 or in the multiples of 3. Tetramerous, floral appendages are 4 or in multiples of 4. And finally, pentamerous, floral appendages are 5 or in multiples of 5. Now, let us discuss types of flowers on the basis of position of ovary. Based on the position of calyx, corolla, androecium in respect of the ovary on thalamus, flowers may be of three types. Hypogynous ovary. In the flower with hypogynous ovary, the gynoecium occupies the highest position, while the other parts are situated below it. Hence, the ovary in such flowers is said to be superior. For example, mustard, China rose and brinjal. Perigynous ovary. If gynoecium is situated in the center and other parts of flowers are located on the rim of the thalamus, almost at the same level, it is called perigynous. The ovary here is said to be half inferior. For example, plums, roses and peach. And finally, epigynous flowers. In epigynous flowers, the margin of thalamus grows upward, enclosing the ovary completely and getting fused with it. The other parts of flower arise above the ovary, hence the ovary is said to be inferior. You must have seen such flowers in guava, cucumber and the ray florets of sunflower. Next part is calyx, corolla and certain terms related to them. Calyx. It is the outermost wall of the flower. It is made up of sepals. Sepals are green, leaf-like and protect the flower in the bud stage. A flower is said to be gamosepalous if all the sepals are united. Polysepalous if sepals are free. Corolla. It is the wall inner to the calyx. It is composed of petals. Petals are brightly colored. They help to attract insects for pollination. Flower is gamopetalous when the petals are united and polypetalous if they are free. You can see images of parts of flower and observe the structure of calyx and corolla in this slide. Dear children, have you ever noticed the pattern of arrangement of sepals and petals in a bud of flower? Now let us discuss about arrangement of petals in the flower. Estivation. Arrangement of sepals or petals in the floral bud. There are four main types of estivation: valvate, twisted, imbricate and vexillary. Valvate estivation, when the sepals or petals in a whorl just touch one another at the margin without overlapping. For example, calotropis. Twisted estivation, if one margin of the appendage overlaps that of the next one and so on. It is called twisted. For example, China rose, ladyfinger and cotton. Imbricate estivation, if the margins of sepals or petals overlap one another but not in any particular direction, such type of estivation is called imbricate. For example, cassia and gulmohar. And finally, vexillary estivation, in pea and bean flowers, there are 5 petals. The largest, called standard, overlaps the 2 little petals, which are called wings, which in turn overlap 2 smallest anterior petals, called keel. This type of estivation is known as vexillary or even papilionaceous because it is observed in family Papilionaceae. Dear children, you can try to collect different types of flowers from your surroundings and observe the type of estivation exhibited by them. Now let us discuss about the male reproductive part of a flower called androecium. Androecium is composed of stamens. Each stamen, which represents the male reproductive organ, consists of a stalk or a filament and an anther. Each anther is usually bilobed and each lobe has 2 chambers, the pollen sacs. The pollen grains are produced in pollen sacs. Staminode is the term used for a sterile stamen. Epipetalous, stamens which are attached to the petals. Epiphyllous, stamens which are attached to the perianth. Important terms associated with androecium: polyandrous, if stamens in the flower are free, it is called polyandrous. Synandrous, if the stamens are united, it is called synandrous. Kindly observe the pictures on the slide carefully. Cynandrous stamens may exhibit any one of these arrangements. Monoadelphous, united as one bunch as you see in China rose. Diadelphous, united two bundles, for example in pea, and polyadelphous, many bundles like you see in citrus. Children, that was the last topic for today's session. I hope you all have understood it well. Before ending this session, let us have a quick recap of what we have learned today. A flower that can be divided into two equal halves via any plane, it is called as an actinomorphic flower. When the flower can be divided into two similar halves only through one vertical plane, it is called zygomorphic flower. In hypogynous flower, the gynoecium occupies the highest position, while the other parts are situated below it. If gynoecium is situated in the center and other parts of the flower are located on the rim of the thalamus, almost at the same level, it is called perigynous. Arrangement of sepals or petals in the floral bud is called estivation. When sepals or petals in a whorl just touch one another at the margin without any overlapping, it is said to be valvate. If the margins of sepals or petals overlap one another but not in any particular direction, such type of estivation is called imbricate. Polyandrous, if stamens in the flower are free, it is called polyandrous. Cynandrous, if the stamens are united, it is called cynandrous. Children, are you ready to answer few questions to test your learning? Differentiate between hypogynous and perigynous flower. Define these three terms: zygomorphic flower, pentamerous flower, and estivation. Explain vexillary estivation with the help of a diagram and give two examples of plants bearing this estivation. How do the monoadelphous stamens differ from polyadelphous stamens? I hope you all have understood today's session. To strengthen your understanding, why don't you pay a visit to a nursery in your town? With this, we are now ending the second portion of this chapter. Don't forget to view the final portion of this chapter in session 3, in which we will try to understand the nature's purpose of creating flowers. Along with that, we shall also discuss one of the plant families, that is family Solanaceae. Till then, goodbye and happy learning.